Hello there, Whittier 5th and 6th graders. Today we're going to start an ongoing unit of study in evaluating internet resources. And today's lesson is about how to read and think critically to evaluate those online sources that we find to determine if it's actually going to be valid and useful information to us as we do our research. So, what do you do when you have a question that you'd like to research? Well, if you're like millions of Americans, you probably turn to Google. People Google so much that we've actually made Google a verb in the English language. As we say, what's the answer to this question? I don't know. I'll Google it. I'll find the answer. And Google is a really wonderful tool. I use Google myself. Many adults use it. But you kind of have to be careful, be cautious when you're using Google, because depending on the types of answers you're looking for, there could be some potential pitfalls to using it. So let's look at this television commercial, actually, from State Farm Insurance that kind of makes fun of how people believe what they see on the internet.
Oh, hey, Mike. What are you up to?
Just diagramming this accident with my State Farm Pocket Agent app. You can also get a quote and pay your premium with this thing.
I thought State Farm didn't have all those apps.
Where'd you hear that?
The internet.
And you believed it?
Yeah. They can't put anything on the internet that isn't true.
Where'd you hear that? The internet.
Oh, look. Here comes my date. I met him on the internet. He's a French model.
Bonjour.
State Farm, more mobile than ever. Get to a better state.
Okay, so as you can see, that was kind of making fun of the fact that just because something's on the internet doesn't mean that it's true, and a lot of people believe it is, whether they should or not. Okay, moving right along here. Let's say that my research question, my inquiry question is this. Where is the best place to buy a dog? So for the purposes of this video, I'm going to pretend that that is my research question. So I open up Google and I actually just type in my question. As you can see up here, where is the best place to buy a dog? And these are the search results I got. By the way, if you notice, there are 167 million results that come up. A lot of times people only look at the top 4 results that they see at the top of their page, like we see here. And supposedly the top 4 are the best 4 answers to your question. That's what a lot of people assume. So let's test out that theory as we look critically at these resources that have come up. Okay, so notice these first 2 results are .coms. Well, I'm not sure if everybody realizes what a .com is, but com is short for the word commercial. And when we're talking about commercial, we don't mean the commercials on TV, but we mean commerce, buying and selling things. So .coms are, in general, trying to make money off of people who visit them. They're trying to sell us goods or services. And so, I'm not saying that everyone who's trying to sell something is untrustworthy, but we do have to realize that the purpose of the information they put on there is to make money. And so, we have to wonder, we have to think critically, is this information really factual and there to help me, or is the information there to try to help this business make money? So notice that the first 2 results we see adoptapet.com and petfinder.com. I'm going to go ahead and click on petfinder.com so we can explore that website a little bit further. So here we are at petfinder.com, and this is what we see. And it says that I could find a pet to adopt. It looks like I could type in a location, a type of pet, a breed, the age and the gender of the pet. There's other tabs along the top. And if I'm ever not sure what a website is about, one of the first places I should click on is the About tab. Usually there's a tab that says About Us. And look, up here it says About Pet Adoption. So it looks like the site is about adoption, not necessarily about buying. Although I do know from my prior knowledge that sometimes you do have to pay an adoption fee when you're adopting an animal. But I'm going to click on that tab to see if I could find more information. So when I click on that tab, this is the page that ends up coming up, and it looks like there are 3 main sections to look at. Why are dogs given up? The first 30 days with a new dog, and dog adoption. Should you adopt a deaf dog? So these are all different articles about dog adoptions. It seems like it's an educational site. It doesn't look like it's necessarily trying to sell me something here. But I have to ask myself, does this actually help me answer my research question? So going back to my research question, I have to remember what I'm trying to find out. I'm trying to find out where is the best place to buy a dog. So yes, while that site at Pet Finder might be educational and have some great articles about pet adoption, it really still doesn't help me answer my question. So I'm going to move to my third search result. I'm going back to my original search results on Google, and it comes up with something called Yahoo Answers. I've seen this many times when I've done a Google search, so I want to see what this is all about. I'm going to click there to see what happens. Yahoo Answers brings me to a page that looks like this, and there's the question up at the top, where's the best place to buy a dog? And it looks like somebody answers, and it says the best answer is this woman who's saying, oh, please don't buy a dog, adopt, please. Pet shops are puppy mills. They breed dogs in poor conditions and leave them without any human companionship, then sell the puppies for profit. So anyway, this person goes on and on to give a more thorough answer, and it does look like it's very well written. But let's look at this for a second. We don't know who this person is. There's no picture. There's no name. We don't know who this is. We don't know what their background is. It could be a veterinarian answering the question, like an expert. It could just be any neighborhood person, any random person that has no idea about dogs or anything about them, but just sounds like they do. Come to think of it, the person up here is just posting a question on this forum, just trying to ask for advice, really. So Yahoo Answers is what we would call a place we would call a discussion forum, where people go to ask their questions, and anybody using the internet that sees the question can post a response. Sometimes they also let readers vote on what the best response is. I think that's where they get this best answer from. But we can't trust that because we don't know anything about who's posting it. So I would never recommend going to Yahoo Answers if you're doing it for a research project for school. So remember, Yahoo Answers is a discussion forum. It's in a Q&A or question and answer format. People are going to be posting their opinions on here. They are anonymous, and we should never really trust a resource that's anonymous, because if they really know what they're talking about, they should share with us what their credentials are. And any professional website will have an author listed and tell you why they're an expert in the subject matter. So we want to stay away from opinions, and we're looking for facts. So back to my search results once again. Where's the best place to buy a dog? Let me try the fourth top hit on Google, which is a .org website. Okay, so it's not a .com, it's a .org, and org is short for organization. Usually those are nonprofit organizations, meaning they're not trying to sell us something to make money, which is a good thing, but that doesn't mean that they're completely trustworthy. So let me go to this website, thehumanesociety.org, and see what we find out. So .org, as I've pointed out up here, .org means that it's a not-for-profit organization. And just because it doesn't make a profit doesn't mean it doesn't also have an agenda. And when we say somebody has an agenda, it means that there is something they want to get out of it. If it's not Monday, it might... I'm sorry, I don't know why I just said it. If it's not money that they want, they may be trying to push a point of view or an idea or try to get you to take their side on something. They want to persuade you to go a certain way. And I'm not saying that not-for-profit agencies or organizations are bad. They do a lot of good work. We just have to realize that they have an agenda that they're trying to push. They have an idea that they want other people to believe in, and we need to understand what that is before we get information from them. It looks here that it says that if you're in the market for a puppy, it says, see these 6 tips on avoiding puppy mills. Avoiding puppy mills. Okay, so we know that the agenda of the Humane Society is that they don't want us to get a puppy from a puppy mill. They're not necessarily telling us where's the best place, but telling us to avoid the puppy mills. And maybe if I read further, I might find some more information. But again, they are an animal rights group, and they may not be giving us the whole truth. So to find out what they're all about and more about what agenda they might be trying to get across, I'm going to again click on that About Us tab. And let's see what it says about the Humane Society of the United States. It says, the Humane Society of the United States is the nation's largest and most effective animal protection organization. We help animals by advocating for better laws to protect animals, conducting campaigns to reform industries, providing animal rescue and emergency response, investigating cases of animal cruelty, and caring for animals through our sanctuaries and wildlife rehabilitation centers, emergency shelters, and clinics. So what I could take from this is they are pro-animal, pro-protecting animal. That probably means they're going to be pro-adoption and negative toward buying a puppy. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that point of view. I'm just saying I might not be getting the full picture on my options of where to buy a dog. I'm going to go back to my research question and let me think about what I've learned so far. I know that everybody just wants to click on those first Google results and start taking notes and start writing down their information to get their assignment done. But we have to stop every so often and think about, what do we know so far, and is it what I need to know to answer my assignment correctly? So, for the question, where is the best place to buy a dog, I ask myself, what do we know so far? Well, I went to petfinder.com. That's showing places I can adopt a dog. They also have some articles, some tips of what to do with a new dog. When I was on the Yahoo Answers, I saw some random strangers' opinions on where to buy a dog or not to buy a dog. And then I went to the Humane Society, which is a pro-adoption organization, and it says not to buy a dog. So I am actually finding some good information here. It seems like it's leaning toward a lot of different people saying we shouldn't adopt a dog, but that we shouldn't buy a dog, we should adopt. But I'm still not seeing, if I was going to buy a dog, where I could go that might be a reputable source. So I actually still think I need to continue my research. So going back, believe it or not, sometimes we have to look beyond the first few search results on Google. So I'm going to scroll down past those top 4 and see if anything stands out to me. Now here, where the arrow is pointing, I see that there's an article from Forbes magazine. I've heard of Forbes before. It's an international magazine with a wide audience. It seems like it would be a reputable source. So I'm going to click on that article, Where Not to Buy a Dog, and see where that leads me. So I get to this page, the article, Where Not to Buy a Dog, and I start skimming through it, and it says something about that there's a HBO documentary, and that this article is going to be, as I circle down here, an interview with the man who made this documentary from HBO. Okay, so what does that mean? It looks like Alan St. John is this man who made the movie, and as I see here, it looks like another Q&A or question and answer forum. So they ask a question to Alan St. John, Alan St. John asks the questions to Andrew Nibley, who made the movie. Alan St. John is the interviewer. So he says, what's the solution to the puppy mill problem? And then Andrew Nibley, the movie director, answers. Then there's another question and another answer. Okay, so Q&A format, we've already been through this. When we have Q&A format, we're asking one person's opinion. This man that made the movie, and he may know a lot, but his answers are his opinion on the topic. So I'm going to go back and see who this is, who's writing this article and asking the questions too. And I see that the writer, this Alan St. John, he just says that he wants to provide an alternative take on sports, entertainment, and popular culture. Well, when somebody says that they're giving their take on something, that's an expression that means they're giving their opinion. They're giving their personal analysis. He's just a staff writer. So between him and the documentary maker, we have two guys here that are giving their opinion. So even though Forbes is a reputable source, a great magazine, this is an opinion piece in the magazine. It's not a factual article. So this piece is not going to help me answer my research question. So I go back to my search results once again, and I see a wikihow.com, how to buy a puppy. Okay, well, I would assume that in a list called how to buy a puppy, it would give me some ideas of where to buy the puppy. So I'm going to click on that and see where it leads me. So WikiHow to do anything. How to buy a puppy. And I'm looking up here and I see that the article has 4 parts. Preparing for a puppy, adopting from a shelter, buying from a breeder. Ooh, maybe this gives me some information about buying. And choosing the right puppy. But I noticed that there's no author listed. We don't know who wrote this. And I noticed that it's called a wiki. Now, if you know what a wiki means, a wiki is similar to a blog. I can start a wiki, you can start a wiki. It's basically a community site where anyone can go and anyone can edit and contribute information to the site. So anyone literally means anyone, whether they know what they're talking about or not. The posts can be anonymous, there's no author listed, so this person can write an article about how to buy a puppy and they've perhaps never bought a puppy or even seen a puppy in their entire life. So we can't guarantee that they could be trusted or credible. And so wikis are generally not good places to do research. That's why you've probably heard teachers say before that Wikipedia might not always be a great resource because so many people could go in and edit it. Anyone could go in at any time and change an article that you never know if the information on there is accurate. At any given time, somebody could write something that just isn't true. So, I'm starting to come to the conclusion, maybe I just need to face the fact that my Google search terms that I typed in were not very helpful to me. This is when we get to a part of our research where we say we have to refine our source. And by refine, we mean we need to make our search more specific. Based on what we've learned so far, we need to analyze what information we've gathered, see how we may have gone wrong, and then take some more steps to try to get the answers that we want. So, since I keep finding things about not buying a dog, I keep finding information about adoption, I wonder if there are any benefits at all of buying a dog from a pet store. Maybe there aren't, but it seems like I'm only getting one side of the information. So I'm going to refine my search a little bit and change it to, are there benefits of buying a dog from a pet store? See if I could get an alternate perspective. So these are the results that come up for that search. And notice that there are some words in bold. These are all words in bold that have come up in my Google search. That's why they're bolded. So notice that the entire phrase, when we type in something like that, does not come up all together. But if any of the words come up, or a high frequency of the words, like this result is our number 1 result because it has 1, 2, 3, 4 words that were in my search. So it says, ooh, this is a good match. This only has 1 term. This has buy and pet store in it. This has benefits and dog in it. So see, this article doesn't even help me at all. The 10 unexpected side benefits of having a dog, just because they had the 2 words benefit and dog. So that kind of points out another lesson here, ladies and gentlemen, in that sometimes we can't just type in exactly what we want from Google and come up with good results. It does work sometimes, but in this case, it's really not coming up with results that are helpful to me. And so we'll talk in a later lesson about how to do good Google searches, better search terms. For right now, let's look at, again, a little bit more closely at the results we did get. I see that I have a couple of .coms again in those first couple results. I don't really want to go there because it's probably just trying to sell me something. I want to avoid that .com. Then it gives me the result, 10 reasons not to buy from a pet store. And again, that's kind of adding to the conclusion I was drawing before that it probably isn't a good idea. So I'm going to take stock of the situation once again and think about what do I have so far. And I do not have very many facts at all. I have a lot of opinions, and those opinions range from not-for-profit organizations and directors of HBO documentaries to random strangers that we don't even know who they are exactly. So I'm not sure if I could really trust what they have to say. So that leads us to the question, are opinions ever okay? Well, I would say it depends on the reason you need the info. If I am doing this research because I am thinking of getting a puppy, that's what I would call my own personal purposes. I'm doing the research for my own know-how to make a decision in my life. And maybe I don't need so many facts in that case. Maybe I could look at what I've learned through this search, that there's so many places saying don't buy but adopt, that maybe I can just take their opinion and say, you know what, that seems to be the right thing to do. Maybe I don't need to have all of the information in that case. However, if I am doing my research for a school project, I cannot just go on opinions. I need to get facts. So I would say that all of the opinions I've gathered here are not going to be good enough for a school-based research project. In conclusion, what we've talked about today, there's a lot of information on the internet. And we need to do our job diligently to figure out when we visit a website, we have to know who is writing this information. Either what person or what organization is supplying us with this information. And not just who, but what do they want? Why are they publishing this website? Are they doing it to educate us? Are they doing it to sell something? Are they doing it because they're trying to persuade us to think a certain way or adopt a point of view? We have to use our head. Google's a great tool, but it's not a better tool than your own brain, where you have to think about who's supplying this information to me, what do they want, and can I trust them? Nothing can ever replace your brain in research. So until next time, that's the conclusion of this first lesson. I'm Miss Coleman, signing off.